Alrighty then, it's time for another Low Elo Lee Sin game. I was able to get a new account, to play Low Elo games again. Which do so? I get to play tons and tons of fucking champions, and one of them was of course Lee Sin. I started off with Doran's Blade this game, attack damage reds, attack damage queens, armor yellow, magic resistance blues, and 921 masteries. The Doran's Blade will help me gank the living crap out of all these squishy targets that my opponents picked, as well as making it so I don't have to buy any spirit items. I go invade the enemy Nautilus, because Nautilus is terrible duelist and really easy for Lee Sin to kill, but I thought he'd be at his red at this point, but he's not. He's ganking at level 2 as Nautilus, who wouldn't have his Q to gank with. So of course it failed. However, the Rise got really hurt, as per what happens low elo. And then he stands in the clearing, gets taunted, and almost killed. I run in there, and I can't do anything to Yari, so I get to steal all this farm. I also store red from Nautilus, which that means it's going to put him behind. Now, if the Ari just tries to port back in front of me, so of course I interrupt her and I do some damage. Then, of course, she tries to go back. I'd rather farm than force her back, though, because delicious farm in lower levels is needed in order to carry. Though that's true in almost any levels. It's taxing the lane. But in here, though, it's as mean as it is to say, taxing the stupid. So the Rise, once again, is getting aggroed on by the Ari. So this makes it a quick, easy gank as Ari will be baited. Nautilus goes in by himself, though. Ari is in no shape to, fight me. So the second she tries to get in position to do some damage, I jump at her with a Q and destroy her. And of course, Nautilus is in a bad position, so me and Rise get to deal a shit ton of damage to him and kill him as well. That makes 2 kills for me already. I have first blood and I have the second kill as well, thus giving me a lot of gold to purchase some awesome items. By the way, that's not what it messaging you. They don't like you. I buy pickaxe, longsword, boots, award, and a potion. The potion mostly because I'm going to be doing a lot of invasion and everything. I miss my Q, and then I steal, a minion. It's kind of easy. In comes Ari, putting herself in a dangerous position again. I'm level 6, meaning I can gank easily. So Rise puts her in a little, ruined prison. I kick her back, and she eats a tower shot and dies ridiculously easy. Nautilus gets to finish off the Rise, but that puts him in a really terrible position. Enough so I can pick him off for yet another kill. That's 2 kills more for me. 4 kills thus far. So essentially this means mid lane and the jungle are out of the game. My own jungler is my own mid lane is kind of out of the game as well. But oh wow. As you can see, playing the jungle in lower levels essentially means you have to play ridiculously aggressive and sometimes selfishly. Well, here you go. Dive into the Twitch. Soraka flashes, but she flashes poorly and gets killed off by the Tristana, and Twitch gets to die ridiculously easily. He should have tried backing off further into the tower. Anyways, as I was saying, in lower levels you have to play either super aggressively or super greedily. Greedily, what the hell? Super selfishly. The thing is, I recognize that this Rise is not going to do anything. His positioning was terrible in lane, his CSing is just garbage, and frankly, I had no hope that he'd do anything right. So, as mean as it is to say, I had to cut my losses and sacrifice him. I decided to take all his minions, take that gold, and snowball myself. It's essentially going to be a theme of these low elo games, and I've shown it before. You play selfishly and you play very aggressively. You gank relentlessly, look for every mistake the opponents are making. In this case, the Ari made tons of mistakes. The most common one was getting too aggressive without any wards. Nautilus, he got stupidly aggressive. You could be an aggressive player, but you should not be stupid. That's not the same thing. Reckless is not the same as being aggressive. What's his face? Nautilus, he tried going in for a gank. He really wanted the kill. However, he went about it really poorly and he didn't pay attention to, opportunity cost. He didn't suspect that I'd steal his buffs. He didn't suspect that I'd counter jungle him. So in his part, it was a severe lack of knowledge. I don't think he understands that Nautilus is a very, very weak champion when it comes to fighting. He's, fighting, battles or skirmishes. He's very good at setting up kills and junk, but he's not exactly good at dueling. So in that case, I as Lee Sin or Rise or anybody can just severely just beat him up just by, slugging it out with him. If the enemy in one of the ganks, the Nautilus went way ahead of the Ari. Ari was in no position to help. She went in anyways because she thought the Nautilus was going to be in for a world of pain. And he was. He got bashed. And then Ari got killed because she got close enough to fight. For me to grab her. As I said, she was in no position to help, and I could kill both of them just by myself. There we go, another gank on Ari. She saw her dashes, and she just dashes back to her tower for whatever reason, when she should have just dashed away from me. I didn't have any way of getting close to her. So a lot of players assume that to go running to your tower is always the best thing. The Ari assumed the same, and thus was punished. Sometimes it's best just to take the long way around if it means avoiding the enemy avoiding an enemy that's looking to destroy you. In this case, this is a good initiation. My Q had been hit on the Twitch, and as soon as minions hit the tower, and as soon as my teammates were close by, I pressed Q and just annihilated the Twitch. Now the rest of my team gets to push the tower and walk around in circles and do things. So, yay for us. I know it's a low elo game and it's a stomp, but this is what a lot of players were requesting. They said, Stonewall, a lot of us are silver and gold. Will you not show us how you can carry in silver and gold? And I'm showing you exactly that. I am ridiculously farmed and fed for a jungler, and that means I can purchase damage items. With damage items, of course, I can annihilate more teams. I built a Hydra and I'm building a Bloodthirster on Lee Sin. Normally these are items you would not be able to purchase on Lee Sin. So, and by the way, that's a random Sona ult right there. And these are not items you'd normally be able to purchase on Lee Sin. But since I'm fed and farmed, I can make that, I can take that risk without falling behind. Nonetheless, it all came by from me just taking the kills, not sharing any of it, and taking the farm whenever I could. Recognizing which teammates were going to be a danger to themselves. In this case, Rise. He was absolutely not going to contribute to the team. Here I make a mistake though. I run into the enemy team and I try to pick off the Ari and I miss my Q. And I die. I paid for that. I get CC locked and whatever. That is the risk of going glass cannon. You don't exactly have the survivability to do some crazy plays. But either way, here you can see the massive problem with the low elo teams. Both teams had several engages against the other, but nobody was following it up. They weren't proper, they weren't intelligent, and no one was in position to follow them up. As you saw there, another Sona ultimate wasted for no reason. Low-level players or low-elo teams just have severe difficulty in understanding when it is the right time to initiate or use their abilities. If you understand this, you could win low-level games with almost no problem. Right there, Sona gets caught and killed. They chase after my team. They're all very low health and clumped up. Right there, Tristana gets hurt and they get clumped up even more. So I Q in, burst in with Q, you press E, activate Tiamat after I kick Kale's ass. And I wipe the floor with 3 of their guys. KO, Soraka, Twitch. Then I kill Nautilus, follow right through. I dash towards the Rise, and hit Ari with a Q and execute her, and thus get myself a pentakill. Funny thing is that Tristana said that I should thank her for that because she set up the kill. When in truth, she didn't really do anything. I would have been able to kill the Ari with just my Q execution. But nonetheless, it's fun. Find that I got a pentakill in this game. And I made a Trinity Force just right off the bat. I can pretty much destroy anybody in the enemy team, mayhaps even more than just 2 at once. Ari gets caught. I hit her Q, but I run into Nautilus, and then thus Nautilus just explodes. I go right onto Soraka after she gets stunned by Sona, and we wipe the floor with her as well. So, As I was saying, it is important to understand that in low level games you must be selfish, you must disregard bad teammates, and must take advantage of the enemy's bad teammates. Another thing that's kind of fine to mention, characters with strong pseudo initiations tend to be the better champions. Most champions with true initiations don't exactly have high damage or have, let's say, builds that are appropriate for damage, aside from a few like Jarvan, who is a true initiator. However, in the case of Lee Sin, he's just a pseudo initiator, and he works out because even if he builds tank or if he builds damage, he can still initiate well enough and deal ridiculous amounts of damage while doing so. Like in this case, go on KO, puncher, and then kicker. The kick itself is a form of CC and initiation, and in some ways it can initiate an entire fight for you. That is much better in lower levels, as you probably need to bring the damage along with you. I mean, like, let's say Malphite. Bring in Malphite. Malphite has glorious initiation, but his damage is on the lower side of tanks. Well, lower side of characters. You can initiate, but if your teammates don't follow up, it's rather worthless, and which is the case in a lot of lower games. Lee Sin can initiate the same, say, all in a similar way, although it's much harder on him because he's not a true initiator. But he packs a lot more damage than Malphite or other true tanks. So, keep them in mind when picking a champion. I would say champions like Xin Zhao and Jarvan are really great at this, along with Lee Sin, though Lee Sin has a ridiculously high skill cap. In short, pick bruiser if you want to carry in the jungle and lower levels. Pick bruisers or tanks with builds that allow damage or hybrid damage defense, who can initiate in some form, and it doesn't have to be true initiation. It can be flimsy initiation, like Voliver too. He can definitely carry lower levels, and his pseudo initiation counts. No, another way to win is playing assassins, who could just insta-gib any important character on the enemy team, which coincidentally, Lee Sin fits as well. He is an assassin champion. He is a champion that can take many roles. An assassin, a bruiser, or whatever. He won't be a pure assassin, but he can definitely work like one for at least a bit of the game. Like here. Fight's about to brew soon. I'm going to hit Twitch with my Q, and as soon as the tower falls, I go right in and just destroy him. Bam, he's essentially assassinated. Of course, the ability to assassinate a champion stops existing later into the game, which is why people say, Lee Sin falls off late game. Unless you're ridiculously hyperfed, but that goes pretty much just for anybody, doesn't it? So, yeah. Champions such as Lee Sin or champions such as Xin Zhao, who can dish out damage, who are tanky, and have some form of pseudo initiation, are the best ones to pick for lower levels. In this case, as Lee Sin, I was able just to crush the enemy team, make sure my Ryze didn't fail his lane, and I took out Nautilus so he could not participate in any ganks. I essentially took out 2 lanes by myself, though I may even consider I took out the top lane as well. By taking them out of the game, I secured victory even for my really weak teammates. Hooray for Lee Sin.